an amazing prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ pertaining to the Great War. The Hadith is in Sahih Bukhari, and the Prophet ﷺ prophesied that the river Euphrates will uncover a mountain of gold. A mountain of gold will come out from underneath the river. A mountain of the metal gold will come out from underneath the river. And people will fight for that gold. And 99 out of every 100 who fight for that gold will be killed. So in that war, 99% of all combatants will be killed. That is the Great War. There has never been a war in all of human history in which 99% of all combatants have been killed. Never. So that is the Great War. But he said each will say, I will be the one who will survive. So when the war is fought, no one is certain of what's going to be the outcome. But the believers must not touch that goal. We can either accept this as muhkam, meaning it has to be understood literally, in which case we will wait for a mountain of the metal to come out from underneath the river. And only when that mountain of the metal gold comes out of the river, only then will the Great War take place. There will be no malhama. No malhama. Until the mountain of metal comes out from underneath the river. So until then we can go home and eat our biryani and go to sleep. But there's another way. And that is to understand this as mutashabiha. That it has to be subjected to ta'wil, to be interpreted. And we offered an interpretation of this several years ago, because Allah was kind to bless us with study of international economics and international monetary economics in 2 universities. Because of that knowledge that Allah kindly blessed me with, I was able to interpret that in 1974, the prophecy was fulfilled when an ocean of oil underneath the river began to function as a mountain of gold when the petrodollar was born. When Saudi Arabia agreed, they will sell their oil for only US dollars, nothing else. You cannot buy oil other than US dollars. So the US dollar became a petrodollar, and an ocean of oil underneath the river became a mountain of gold. Began to function, as a mountain of gold. This is my interpretation. Since I gave this interpretation several years ago, no one has challenged it so far. But still we must say Allah knows best, because only Allah can confirm that an interpretation is correct. So when will the Great War take place? Answer: when they begin to fight for the mountain of gold, which is the petrodollar monetary system. Has the challenge to the petrodollar monetary system has started as yet? Of course. We were eating our biryani and going to sleep. They started. Russia led the way with BRICS. Russia, China, India, South Africa, and Brazil. BRICS. To offer an alternative, another monetary system, an alternative to the petrodollar monetary system. And they are making headway. Yes. China, for example, has now offered to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia has to be careful, because China is the biggest customer now for Saudi oil. That we will pay for your oil with Chinese yuan. And when we pay with the yuan, we'll offer to redeem the yuan for gold at the market rate. So China is not in conflict with the international monetary system, which has banned the use of gold as money. But China is bypassing the petrodollar. This is an indication that the system is now heating up for a challenge to the mountain of gold, and eventually it could lead to the collapse of the US dollar. When there is the possibility of collapse of the US dollar, of course, that could lead to the Great War. And when the Great War takes place, then 99 out of every 100 will be killed.